It's only entertainment.
Yeah, man. All right, y'all. Welcome to the third episode of It's Only Entertainment, man. I got my brother, man, Rodney Pryor on with me, man. Rollo, how you feeling today, bro?
Feeling good, boy. I got geeked when I heard you was doing the podcast.
Man, I'm geeked that I got you on here, man, because I got one of the best players to ever come out of the city of Evanston, Illinois, man. And that's not something to sneeze on, man. That's a big deal. We got first team all NEC at Robert Morris University. He was NEC tournament MVP, helping his team get to that tournament berth. Eventually playing against Duke, which we'll definitely get into.
hmm
Um, Led Georgetown in scoring in his grad year. I think about 18 points per game. Was the second leading scorer in the Big East. Was a college slam dunk champion, which is I'll never forget that. He's been an NBA G League player for about 4 years now, and about to be a new husband and a new father, man, which is probably the biggest one out of all of those, man. It's crazy
hmm
to and see that. It's wild, man. I'm glad you on here with me, man, and we're about to get into it.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
All right, man. So first of all, I want to get started, man. What does the word faith mean to you, man? Because I know you're a very faithful man, and just tell me what the word faith means to you.
Man, for me, it means hope. I've been doing a lot on faith too, in terms of messaging, but just the hope, and the consistency of hoping. Because I feel like, coming up in Evanston or anybody that's coming up, in a situation where there's a lot of adversity surrounding you, whether it be your household, the environment, the community. If you lose hope, then your faith begins to slip on thinking that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, faith has just been the aspect of continuing to hope that things will be better.
Right. That's big time, man. When did faith really become a part of your everyday life, man? Because I know you've always been a guy that went to church. And family is a church going family, but when did it become, part of your everyday makeup?
Yeah, so I grew up in the church. Mom was really strict about us, being in church. Gave my life to Christ when I was 15, but still was living wild and reckless up until I was about 21. But what led into that was, basketball is the forefront of my life. Everything was about basketball. And the Lord humbled me when I got to JUCO. First year broke my foot, so it was like, man, Lord, like what's going on? So I get back going to church, get back reading my word, just to go right back into sin and doing wild stuff. Following season, first day of practice, I tear my ACL,
I
and
remember that.
I picked up momentum. I got to the JUCO Top 100 camp.
Right.
I'm starting to get some D1 schools interested in me, and then boom, tear my ACL. And this is when I was 21, so third year in JUCO. And I remember after my surgery, I'm laying in my bed, just bawling, crying, and that was like the moment I'm like, I'm gonna give my life to the Lord completely, even if I don't play basketball ever again.
Right.
And that's kind of like where I experienced like transformation from that standpoint.
Man, so when you was in that stage, like how many JUCO games did you even play at that time? Once you that last ACL tear, did
I
you
didn't play no games at
no game
Cloud.
at
I
Cloud?
played I played the first half of a preseason game, and I broke my foot in that game. And
That's
I was at Kirkwood right out of high school, and
right,
I wasn't getting minutes there. So like I would play in every game, but I would only be getting like 5 minutes. So
right.
that's when I transferred to Cloud. But then I got hurt back-to-back years at Cloud, didn't play in one game.
It's unbelievable, bro, man. That's literally a story that doesn't happen, man. And it's all faith, the work that you put in as well, but that faith that you had in God, man.
Hmm.
Talk about, man. Let's talk about Evanston, bro, because
Boy,
this is what we're gonna
good
take.
town.
Let's talk about the town, man. Talk about being the town kid. Shout out to Garrett, man.
Yeah, so look, I got the shorts on right now. I should have had the shirt on. Man, no, it's everything, man. Coming up in Evanston, um, I don't even know where to begin. But just the community, the village that we had there, with all the mentors, Stacy, Nib, all those guys, pouring into us, making sure we were on our P's and Q's when it came to hoops. But my story, I was a late bloomer.
Yep.
when it came to the hoop side, like
Definitely.
going through fam, I was a big man in fam. You
Right.
know, this is at the time when Mikey Rice, Aaron, of
Jordan.
course, Garrett. Like we had some heavy hitters in
Yeah.
fam. Tony Pierce was a monster.
God, Tony. James Harden. Tony. James
Yeah.
Harden.
So man, thinking back to those days, man, to where I'm at now, it's just like when you think about all the trials and tribulations, the everything that goes into it, the good, the bad, to form us, to the men that we've become today.
Facts. Man, like talk about you just getting into naming names and just talk about the competitive environment that it was on the basketball side. Like, I feel like as soon as we really, figured out what was to basketball, everybody was locked in at some point.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to
Hmm.
go get one. Everybody, talk about that.
Yeah. So the cool aspect of being Evanston, being a suburb of Chicago, um, is very interesting because we know the hoopers that come out of Chicago.
Right,
D Rose, Jabari, the list goes on.
right.
So, you come up north to a suburb called Evanston and you just got a boatload of talent. And I want to shout out Jeremy Richmond, for setting that standard. The dude is Mr. Illinois, back-to-back years, killed fam. So
Yeah,
like I think the standard was high for us being in the suburb with Jay Rich amounting to the success that he amounted to. And then you just see every player follow up behind that. You got Tony Pierce, who is just could get you 50 as a sixth grader.
yeah.
Like then you follow up, you got Garrett,
Another
just another 50, however you wanted it. Aaron Valdores, he's going to 5-star camps, he's going to ABDC camp. Like you had all these dudes that were amounting to so much success at such an early age. Because me being a late bloomer, I'm looking at these dudes like they in the league
right,
already. So that was the funny aspect of how I came into my competitive nature. Howard Adams is my cousin,
right.
so I had opportunity to play one-on-one against him, like really get roughed up, playing the ones and things like that. So that's kind of when I started to grow into the competitive side of the game and getting serious about it. Because me, I'm a clown. I'm running around making jokes.
Right.
So it wasn't until about 7th, 8th grade where I started taking it serious. And then Briscoe came to town from Zion, and he was on our fam team. And like came and took over. So it's just so funny to see how many guys that were in my class or even above. Whereas like I was looking up to them.
Right.
Even Lorenzo.
Yeah, man. Zoe was
Hey,
top three in the
Zoe.
state, man. Zoe,
Hey, bro.
it
And
was
he was 2 years younger than me.
yeah, my grade. Yeah.
Bro, Lorenzo is different. He,
It's literally different, man. You had to be
literally.
there. Ain't that what they saying on the internet? You had to be there.
Yeah, you had to be there. Even like we're watching H, bro. You remember outside hooping
My
up
God.
at Howard?
Hey,
Behind
oh,
Fleetwood.
oh my goodness, man. It was different times, man. I was just about to say, man, it's names that you named that ended up playing and continue playing, but there's a lot of names that, you know, didn't play after high
Mhm.
school, or maybe didn't even play in high school. But if you go to that gym on Foster Street and go play with them,
It don't matter where you went.
no matter where you went, you could be in the NBA or you could have been at the JUCO somewhere. You had to come play right here. It don't
Hmm.
matter where you was
Hmm.
at. So, yeah, man. And
Shoot, I mean, we ain't gonna be modest with you either.
come on, man. We not talking.
I still remember your senior year mixtape. Oh my goodness.
It's about you right here, man. But no, look, speaking of high school, though, I'm glad you brought that up. Man, you started at Evanston on the freshman B team, which is if somebody hears that you're a pro right now, 4-year pro.
Hmm.
That doesn't even register to some people. So talk about that. How'd you end up on the freshman B team? Your freshman year, you say you're a late bloomer, but
Yeah. So we had, man, when I think about our 8th grade class and fam that year, just how many people was just going to Evanston that year, and with me being the late bloomer, talent finally getting there. I'm having confidence, one, to take shots, shoot threes. So I remember going into tryouts, and I thought I was good enough at the time to make freshman A. But we just had so many people: Andrew Gillette, Aaron, Rakeem, Earl, James Farr, like, bro, and we could just keep going down the list. Clark, and man, you know how the tryouts are. It was about 100 kids
Right.
at the tryouts, and it's like, you know who already on there. We know
Right.
Garrett, we know Aaron, we know you. Like, we know some of the people. Where it's like, all right, they don't even got to come to tryouts.
Right.
One, it was a movie that Garrett went up to varsity as a freshman, like, and this is at the time where it was like,
Going down.
you only dream about
Exactly.
being on varsity as a freshman.
For real.
So, and I remember I share this testimony a lot. You know, after tryouts, they put your ID number on the wall in the gym wing. We dart in there after class to see, you know, which team you made. And of course, you go to 18 list. You trying to. I think I remember my name was 610777. So I'm 61. Oh no, that ain't it.
Yeah.
So I don't see my joint, and I'm, you know, you embarrassed. Everybody geek running off, like happy about making the A team.
Right.
And then I wait till everybody leave. And then I go to the B team. Oh, there goes 610777 right there. So I'm like, dang.
Right.
But the aspect of Coach Patterson at the time, man, like, he was my everything that year, because he treated me like I was on varsity. Like,
Right.
before school, after practices, making sure I'm putting in the work. And we ended up having a crazy year that year, won like 20 games straight. But yeah, I mean, it just shows you the talent. Like, do I think I should have been on 18? Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it wasn't wrong for not putting me
Right.
on 18.
Right. That's what I talk to Olsen about all the time, man. We could just be like, man, it's just so many players at Evanston, bro. Like, they don't even know what they got over there. It's just like an unlimited amount of good players over there.
Yeah, and then like, even like, so after that year, I became my own player. Like, I wasn't fanboying anymore. Like, I'm like, when I step in the gym, like, I'm gonna compete. Like
Right.
I'm better than you.
Right.
Like, beforehand, like, all of middle school, I was fanboying. Like,
Right.
and Tony's my cousin. So like, I'm over there like, man, when you did that move, and it was like, it was against my team, and I'm like,
Right.
like talking about you know, him and them playing. So the aspect of that year really gave me the confidence that, like, oh, like, they my peers, like
Right.
like they got to see me the same way I got to see them on the floor. So I was glad. I think that was really good for my confidence, playing on freshman B and having all the energy and attention on me.
Facts. And then was that you played sophomore at Evanston, and then you went to Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, so sophomore year at Evanston, and we did the platoon system, 5 in, 5 out, because our sophomore team was
Loaded.
stacked. Like, yeah, we had a squad my sophomore year. And a lot of people don't know this, man, but like, so going into my sophomore year, you know, everybody would have a standout game here and there, but it was like not enough in my mind at the time to like solidify me to make varsity the following year. So like, this is where the toss up came, and I was, you know, Lorenzo was my best friend at the time, who was still in middle school.
Yeah.
And I remember he started getting looked at by other high schools, and I'm always with him. So I'm going on these trips and stuff like that. So like, everybody's like asking me, like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, all right. And I'm like, I'm going to stay at Evanston and try and make the varsity team.
Right.
But then like, the seeds got planted in my head about, you know, man, you can come here. Like, it's a lot of people at Evanston. You might get overlooked, all this type of stuff. So then that's when I'm like, all right, like, yeah, like Earl, Garrett already the man on varsity.
Right.
So then it started like playing with my mind. So I'm like, man, like, obviously chance I might not make varsity.
Right.
So then at the time, this is when Notre Dame came in the picture with Zoe. And like, at the time, I'm like, all right, Lorenzo, I'll go wherever you go. So Lorenzo decided on Notre Dame at first. So I'm like, all right, bet, I'm locked in. Like, I'm about to get my paperwork. I'm gonna move, do all of that so that I can get there legally. So I move, get all that stuff underway. Then Lorenzo goes to Evanston.
Evanston, yep.
So I ended up going to Notre Dame.
Alone.
You know, so but yeah, people didn't the toss up, and then my mom wanted me out of Evanston just because, you know, me, I'm still running around
Right.
with my head cut off.
Right.
So she wanted a little more structure and a little more discipline. So she was happy with the move I made to Notre Dame, which was crazy in itself. And I struggled my first year, private school, all boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I didn't know how to adjust. It was more serious. The school was like super serious. And I had some good games here and there, but like Coach Les was like not going for like none of it.
Right.
And like I struggled that year playing wise. And then I tried to come back to Evanston. I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. Like I'm coming back to the town. So I'm talking with Coach Locke. My mom, I get my mom to say that I could go back to Evanston, but the whole time she like, you're not going back to Evanston. Right. So I'm doing chores. I'm cleaning the house. I'm in home before curfew, all of it. For her to tell me you was never going back to Evanston. Bro. And at the time, bro, at Evanston was Garrett was already Garrett. James just matured into his size.
Mm-hmm.
Clark, Andrew, like it was a squad already at Evanston. And she like, no, you can't go back. And I'm thinking, man, state, we gonna go to state, all this stuff. And I ended up staying at Notre Dame, put in that summer though, going back to Notre Dame, like is when I stepped into maturity at this standpoint. And now we got the vision and the dream of D1, like actually become a pro, stuff like that. So, you know, the journey's just been wonderful.
Right. Damn, man. So going into your senior year, you already played a year with Q.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You played a year with Q, and you got Mooney coming as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. So you got two pros on that team, man. Talk about competing with those dudes every day. And you still got guys like Scooter coming off the bench, and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, just competitors, man, dudes that really want to hoop. But you got two pros on that team, man. Talk about that.
Yeah. So Q, man, set the standard. You know, he was highly touted in high school. He had schools coming in left and right. He was one of the big reasons I stayed at Notre Dame. Well, I mean, my mom wouldn't let me leave, but like once I got to convincing myself to stay as well, he was a big component for that, you know, we could be a really good duo our senior year. So, you know, playing with him, seeing at the rate at which he worked, he was already athletic. He's windmilling in games, you know, all types of crazy stuff. So like, again, like I was able to see what it looks like. Like, so now I have a vision of what I need to be doing in order to stand out and play at the highest level.
Right.
Mooney coming up, this dude, one of the hardest workers I know. Mm-hmm. Like, and you know, at the time he wasn't athletic. He didn't have crazy basketball tangibles, but in the gym all day, every day, before school, after school, super competitor. I wish we would have utilized him more when I was there. He was definitely better than some of the guards we had playing in front of him. And then Scooter, you know, Scooter, like he challenged me, and I'm senior, like I'm averaging 20-something a game.
Right.
He pick you up full court. Somebody else bring it up. So like our dynamic of our team grew that year. Like, I mean, we had me and Q, we got Mooney, we had Joe Farisi, we had guys that compete, Ryan Thompson, because you know, the stereotype, all white boys can shoot threes. And then we added Scooter, like who's just a beast on defense. Like you're not going by him. No, so like the dynamic we had going into my senior year, I knew we had enough to get to state. If everybody locked in, we won all our tournaments. And you know, senior year, it was cracking at Lane Tech when we played Evanston.
Y'all had Evanston, right? Yep.
Boy, oh my! And this, Garrett had like 30 in the first half. Like wasn't missing.
Right.
We was down a dub in that game.
I think I remember.
And you know, Eway, Cam, Dun, everybody literally right there on the first row. And I was struggling, bro. I had like 4 points going into the fourth quarter. You know, everybody talking crazy, like, bro, what you on, Rollo? Like,
Right.
like, what's up? Like, and then, you know, everybody like, see, you shouldn't have stayed in the town. Like,
That's the first thing they gonna say.
so fourth quarter come, bro, I erupt. I'm
Okay.
talking not missing. I'm coming down, pulling from anywhere. You know what? The best feeling is when you get that corner three right there where everybody at. Splash. I'm turning on. I'm here. I'm here. I'm from the town. Like, no. And we ended up beating them. And Q set it off. He had like an alley-oop dunk. This play we'd run up on the sidelines. Caught that joint, dunked it, and it erupted from there. But our senior year was special. We won every tournament we played in, the Wheeling tournament, Lane Tech.
Y'all beat us in the Wheeling tournament.
Yeah. And that game was cracking too.
It was unbelievable, man.
To turn around and lose to y'all.
And that game was crazy too.
Man.
Unbelievable, man.
That game was crazy.
That was crazy, man. But yeah, we had some. Speaking of that, though, let's before I even move to the next topic, man, tell me 3 of the best players that you think you played in high school, man. 3 of the best players you think that you got to see in high school.
Whew, man, I gotta think back. I'm gonna definitely put Garrett in there. Garrett for sure. I'm trying to think who else did we play.
It could be summer league, AAU, anything.
Oh, AAU. I'm gonna go Derek Randolph. Hey, son.
Oh my God.
And on that team was Jaleel, Paul White. I mean, Jaleel and Paul, they even say it for them. Derek was a problem. Bro, like, I'm talking like, what was he? Probably 5'5"?
Yeah.
5'6". Right. However you wanted it. So, and we played them in the summer league. At
Whitney Young.
Yep. And then I'm trying to think. I mean, at the time in my conference, we had Dave Sobolewski and Frank Kaminsky.
Yep.
At Bennett. Them two was a problem. So Garrett, him. Oh, Wayne Blackshear. I'm tripping.
Wayne Blackshear. Yeah, that
40, easy.
National champion.
This was at Notre Dame too.
Right. I remember that. Little Charlie Moore was a freshman, I think.
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Mm-hmm. Went for 40.
Yeah.
And this is at the time, you know, where he was ready to be a pro.
Yeah, he was.
High school, dunking, all types of crazy stuff.
He was a dog. All right, man. So before we move on, man, I got this little thing we call a fast break drill.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just ask you a couple quick questions, and you just answer it as quick as possible, just so the listeners can get to know you a little bit more. All right. So would you rather dunk on somebody or chase somebody down for a block?
Oh.
I seen you do both.
Yeah.
I seen you do both.
Hey, I'm gonna have to say dunk on somebody.
That's somebody slipping. Okay, vet. Okay. Who's your favorite NBA player growing up?
Kobe.
Got it. What's your favorite basketball shoe to hoop in?
Oh. I mean, I've been hooping in Kobe's. I just got the Paul George's and the Giannis's, but I'll probably say consistently Kobe's.
Got it.
Light.
Who you got, LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan. I was with Bron for a while, but when he didn't three-peat, I'm like, I gotta give it to Mike. Right. Now I'm full blown Mike.
Okay, and I think I know the answer to this one, but I had this argument with a lot of people. So Brad Beal or Devin Booker?
Oh, I'm gonna go Brad. Pure sweat fam.
Yeah.
But you know, because you know, I get to do life with him and see him up close, like the grind, the seriousness behind it. I mean, the last 2 years he's averaged 30. Like, so you know, and D Book, don't get me wrong, is super tough too. But I think seeing what Brad is doing now that they're picking up wins this year, you know, with the roster that they have it's been impressive.
No, Brad Beal is. I've been a fan of Brad since before he even got to Florida. So
yeah, when he was St. Louis Eagles.
Yeah, bro, when he was tearing Nationals up. So I'm a Brad Beal head. I really bang with Brad Beal, man. But all right, man. Since we're talking about the pro life and the college, let's talk about the college life before we get into the actual pro life and the experiences that you had there. Talk about getting to Robert Morris after them pretty dark JUCO years, man. Talk about just the different environment, the whole
Mhm.
feel of it once you got there.
Yeah, because I mean, one, getting to Robert Morris was a gift from God because I didn't play JUCO and I still got a Division I scholarship. My JUCO coach went the extra mile to make sure I got a scholarship. And you know, in high school, we had the little hat that had D1 bound, league bound.
Yeah.
You know, at the time I was so all in D1. Like I didn't have the thought of D2, you know, D3 or NAIA. I'm
Mhm.
like, it's D1. And like to get to Robert Morris, bro, after being hurt 2 years in a row was, man, I remember when I first got there, I cried like every day just thinking about it, you know, thinking about the town,
Right.
thinking about the trials and tribulations. And I'm still doing rehab. I wasn't done with rehab on my knee
Right.
at the time. So still getting through rehab. I wasn't practicing with the team until really late once I got cleared to go. You know, that first year I had to play with that huge knee brace.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
but again, being from the town, man, the one thing I always say is it forces you to be confident. Like you can't not be confident or it's over for you.
Right.
You know, even coming back home playing at Fleetwood, whether it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, shooting three, you know, playing 1-on-1 from three.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it just teaches you how to be confident. So when I got to Robert Morris, it was nothing for me to stay confident. Like my mindset was, I'm killing.
Right.
If I get the minutes, I'm killing. And I started out off the bench, and I'm like, man, this ain't me. Like I need to be starting. So I just locked into the role that I had, and then eventually I got into the starting lineup, became the leading scorer of the team that year.
Mhm.
We were super talented, that team. We had Marquise Reed, who ended up at Clemson. He's a pro now. Lucky Jones, he was
Bucket.
all-time stuff at Robert
Shout
Morris.
out him, bro. I
Yeah.
forgot about him. He was a bucket.
Yeah, we had a squad that year. Kayvon Stewart,
What
the
was the other?
point guard.
What was yeah, y'all had him. What was the light skinned guard that y'all had, man? I can't
Light
think of
skin.
his. He might. I don't even. What was the light skin? He wasn't Stewart because Stewart was from New Jersey.
Yeah, he was from Patterson.
I can't remember what this other dude. Now I will have to look at y'all roster. It'll come to me.
We
But
had Elijah Minnie. He was a forward though.
stuff too.
Yeah, so we had a squad that year, man. Everybody pushed each other. Like we all wanted to be the best player, but we knew how to keep it in a team context, which was impressive for that time. Lucky's a senior. He has all these all-time things he's trying to get done at Robert Morris. And then in comes all these newbies. I'm coming from JUCO. We got some freshmen coming in and killed that year. I remember we get to the conference championship at St. Francis, Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
and it went up that game. I still remember I came down, hit the hezzy three, and I'm going crazy. We get to the tournament. I get MVP. You know, bro, this is all like a movie. Like it's literally a movie. When I have a chance to sit down and think about it, I'm like, that really happened. Like I'm on ESPN holding up the conference championship joint. We win our game in the playing game in Dayton. Like this stuff, bro, you can't make this stuff up. Like we win that game versus North Florida. I got like 20 something. Then we played Duke, which I scored 25. I think that was the most a player scored on that Duke team in that tournament. And they ended up going on and winning it, meeting Coach K, like, and he telling me like you're it, like
Right.
you're that dude. So like going into my senior year, you know me, I'm thinking, oh, I'm league. So like this is when get into the league was like reality and not just like, man, I'm trying to get to the league. Like now
Right.
I'm like, I'm an NBA player. Now I just gotta continue to prove it. Going into senior year, you know, average 20 a game. I had a concussion that year too. And I was out for like 2.5 weeks. So I think that's what messed me up from getting player of the year that year. And I mean, I still got 1,000 points in 2 years.
Yeah.
But I would have had like 1,500 if if I didn't miss that many games when I had that concussion.
Really wild. In 2
Yeah,
years.
bro.
Cause bro, you gotta remember, bro. So you got there my sophomore year at FDU. All right, people
Mm-hmm.
that don't know, FDU was in the same conference as Robert Morris. So nobody in FDU, they didn't really know who you was, bro. And I'm trying to tell them, like, bro, I'm telling y'all, bro, once we play him, he's gonna try to kill us, bro. like it's not like no talking with him, bro. Like he's gonna try to kill us, bro. And they always hear me talk about dudes from the crib, and I always say that
Yeah,
they, you
yeah, yeah.
know what I'm saying? So they're not really thinking nothing of it, bro. After that game, bro, they said, bro, he the best player in the conference, bro. Like it's not even
Mm-hmm.
close, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Tore us up. I think we played at y'all house first, and then the second time was at our house,
Yeah,
man.
it was at
Both games
FDU.
probably had 30 points.
Yeah, yeah.
It's ridiculous. I remember this stuff very vividly the whole year.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
My time at Robert Morris, even when I go, through the YouTube highlights, I'm like, man, I was really wilding out. And now to see dudes going to the league out of mid-major, I'm
Where was
like,
this?
where was this energy when I was? Because
My
at the
God.
time, my senior year, I'm like, I gotta so I had a grad year because of the injuries in JUCO.
Right.
So at the time, I'm thinking like, to get to the league, I got to go do this at the
Big-
highest level of college. So that's what made me deter from going into the draft after Robert Morris and
right.
going to do a grad year, which was another movie in itself.
Yep, and then that leads us into that grad year right now. Talk about man that summer going into that grad year because I remember you coming home that summer and you was by far the best player in the gym every time you stepped in. It was not close, bro. And mind you, we got a lot of hoopers at the crib, bro. A lot of hoopers, a lot of competitive dudes with a lot of pride.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wasn't close, bro. So talk about that summer and going into that year.
Yeah, again the confidence thing, man. Like you get to the level and you're doing it. You're doing all this stuff when we was running around in fam waiting for our game to start. Like,
Right.
yeah, I want to be like, all the people we was watching. At the time I used to watch Michigan State with Doris Summers, Neitzel, all those guys, and we're talking about all that stuff. And now I'm that guy. I'm doing what we was watching people do on TV. So what it did for my confidence, like when I step in the gym, like no one's touching me regardless if someone can touch me.
Right.
That was the mindset I had. So coming back after my senior year of Robert Morris, and I didn't get recruited in high school. So when I announced that I was doing a grad year,
Everybody.
Kansas,
I remember.
Florida, everybody, like I'm talking like I'm on the phone with Bill Self, I'm on the
Right.
phone with Coach K,
That's
like
why I thought you was gonna go to Kansas because you
yeah,
kept
bro.
talking about Kansas. That's all you would talk about was Kansas. I'm like, bro, gonna go to Kansas.
Then Gonzaga came in late. Then Georgetown came in. So when I got back home, bro, like I'm like
In your bag.
in my bag. And at the time, I still didn't have crazy handle.
Right.
But when you step into delusional confidence, you just can dribble out of
Right.
out of nowhere. So
Right.
like, and this is when I was at the top of my athleticism. I'm going through the legs in our pickup games. So like, and it's just fun to come back to your hometown and be in that environment because like everybody everybody was a part of this.
Right.
So like to come back and be killing, I can compete with H one-on-one now. Like
Right.
you know what I mean? Like people don't understand. That was one of my driving factors
Oh yeah, we could
as a
tell when y'all
basketball
played
player
one-on-one and
was
all
to
that.
beat H one-on-one.
Right.
Like because I remember all the one-on-ones where it's like I have no chance. Like I was
Right.
almost scared if he asked me to play one-on-one. So like getting back that year and being able to just compete, because regardless of where he didn't play, he's still a monster. Like
Oh, you know. you know.
So like
up, man, I'm telling you.
And then we rapping, we having all the conversations in front of GGO. We everywhere in Evanston, talking with Dun Dun, all these what I consider Evanston elites.
Yep.
And even at the time, I got a chance to finally play against Jay Rich going into that summer. And that it give me goosebumps right now thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can compete with him now.
Right.
So like that was just all a movie in itself on top of all the schools calling me. I get to do this with, I'm at Fleetwood, Coach Bill Self called me. Hey, Bill Self calling me.
Right.
Type of thing. So like I really was glad I was able to do that in the town. just for a sense of hope, that kids like we can go high major, like
Yep.
we will be the pinnacle of recruiting and stuff like that. So, and I'm 23 at the time. Like
Exactly.
I'm a grown man
Right.
and still I feel like I was 17 again, like getting the letters from all the schools and stuff like that. So I was super happy that I got a chance to experience just the recruiting of the high majors.
Facts.
So now we talk about when they calling all this stuff they offering, man, I get to Georgetown, bro, AI there, Matumbo there,
Right.
Alonzo Mourning there, Patrick Ewing there. And at the time, Georgetown was struggling a little bit and they needed to score. Devontae Smith Rivera just graduated. And this is when I was weighing all my options: Florida, Gonzaga, Georgetown, Kansas. And I'm like, man, like I know I got to step in and kill right away. And I was trying to measure, like, okay, Kansas at the time, Josh Jackson was coming in, #1 recruit. I thought he was going to go to Michigan State. That's why I was so locked in on Kansas, because I'm
Right.
like, if he go to Michigan State, it's a no-brainer, go Kansas.
And I was in Kansas City at that time watching a lot of Kansas games. You were better than Josh Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
No disrespect to Josh
When I
Jackson.
looked at the season, I'm like, oh, I would have killed.
God, bro.
I would have killed. And Speed was solid that year, but like, bro, what I was doing at Georgetown, like, killed the Maui. Like, it wasn't like
killed pros in the mouth too.
Oh yeah,
I
killed pros. So, but the visit at Georgetown was a movie, like over the top.
Right.
AI, they all telling me like, come here, bro. Like, you're gonna be the man. Like,
Crazy.
and you got Allen Iverson, bro.
Right, that's unbelievable.
Like what?
That's
So,
unbelievable.
I ain't even going to any other visit. So committed to Georgetown. Got my paperwork, all that stuff done. And the famous Kenner League out there.
Yep.
This is my stamp. Like, cause ESPN, sports, all these places saying like, oh, he might come off the bench there.
Right.
And be a good senior for them, mature senior, maybe average 7-8 points.
That's not what I'm here for.
Like, what? I'm coming here to tear it upside down. So when I got to the Kenner League, I was like, I have to make my stamp here now. 40s. I averaged 40 in the Kenner League that year. Bro, all the articles was next Allen Iverson. We haven't seen performance like this since AI. Like, I'm talking, and we went to the championship. I'm frying pros coming in to play in the Kenner at the time. So at this time now, it's like it's on. Like everybody knows like that I'm gonna be the guy on the team. We get in season, first game, I go for like 36. And I didn't even play the whole second half. I would have had 50 that game. I went 10 for 10 in the first half.
What game? Who y'all playing again?
We played South Carolina Upstate.
Okay, I remember this.
And I got the record for first appearance in a Georgetown uniform in history, like killing.
Right.
And I wasn't playing all of the second halves, like versus Howard, some smaller D1s, but hooping's hooping. Then we go to the Maui. And this is a big reason why I went to Georgetown too. They were going to the Maui tournament again. Movie. What? Maui?
Maui.
Like, bro, I'm from the town.
Exactly.
Like, and I'm in Maui. First game, Oregon. They like top 20 in the standings. So I'm like, oh, I gotta act up out here. And I go nuts that game. I'm talking in my bag. I think I went for like 28. And I hit the half quarter buzzer beater to get I was on SportsCenter top 10 like every game.
Bro,
when I came back to DePaul too, they did like a welcome home video.
Did they really?
Yeah, I didn't know I don't know who set that up. It might have been Irv. When you come out an hour before and you're doing like your one-on-one stuff.
Yeah.
They played a tribute video.
It's crazy, bro.
I was like, what is going on?
I never.
And everybody there. I'm talking the whole town there, Evanston, Notre Dame, and I ended up going for like 30 that game. And I had that crazy tip back.
I was just watching that before I got on with you, bro. I was watching all your highlights. I said, bro, this dunk was crazy. You screamed.
It's like you want to be modest, but bro, when I look back, son, it's a divine appointment that I didn't get in the league yet. Like,
Really.
it's a divine appointment that I didn't get in the league yet.
Yes, because I thought for sure, and you know that's crazy how that leads into this. I was gonna talk about man being undrafted after that crazy year at Georgetown, man, because I was at the draft party. I was
Hmm.
at the draft party at Fleetwood and all this, and I thought for sure. I'm thinking, I forgot what teams I was thinking, but I remember I had like 2 or 3 teams. I'm like, yup, he gonna go.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ain't it happen? What the man? So talk about if I felt like that, talk about how you felt uh once that time came about.
Yeah, because pretty like halfway through the year at Georgetown, every time you we play on TV, the commentators, they're like, man, I got NBA executives asking me now about the kid. Like,
Right.
he can be used right away. He's
Right.
mature, all this thing. So, I'm hearing this. Of course, I'm hearing all of this. My Twitter is going crazy. I'm trending every game. And it's like, you're sitting down in your dorm room. You like, yo, I'm about to like go to the league. Like,
Right.
literally.
Right.
So, when I got to the end of the year, and I end out on the slam dunk contest. So, to get drafted, you need momentum and leverage. At the time, age was becoming a factor for draft.
Right.
So I'm like, that might hurt me. But then I'm like, the year I had though is like no denying it. We
Undeniable,
didn't
right.
get that many wins, which I think if we would have won more, it'd have been automatic. So when it got to the draft party, I'm like, dang. And I thought like Phoenix, I killed my Phoenix workout.
It was gonna be. That's what I was thinking. I thought it was Phoenix that was gonna draft
Yeah, I killed my Phoenix workout. And I'm like, man. So then afterwards, like at the time, I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna just go to Summer League and kill Summer League. So then I'm thinking, what's the weakest team that wants to bring me to Summer League?
you. Right.
so I could go and kill. So at the time, Brooklyn was struggling.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right, let's sign with Brooklyn. Man, I get to Brooklyn, I'm killing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at dudes. They bring 8 players from the roster to Summer League.
I was in Vegas with you. I remember.
Yeah, bro.
I remember.
I'm like, yo, they brought 8 NBA dudes to Summer League. So then it was like politics got involved. Like, of course they got to play. It was some dudes on their last year to see if like they still want to go with them. So I just ran into politics at the wrong time.
Yep.
It killed my momentum. Now, Georgetown and all that stuff is in the past. It's what you've done for me lately.
Right.
Then I got injured, hit my first 3, landed on somebody's foot.
Yep. I remember.
So it's just like nothing was in place for me. So then I take the deal to Turkey. So because they gave me like 120, which is like rare for rookies. Go out there, first experience is bad. Come back to the G. This first year of 2 ways, but in my mind, I'm thinking the G sweet.
Right.
Like I'm about to go there, kill, get a call up, and be all she
Right.
Bro, I get to the G, I DMP like the first 5 games.
Right.
And it's weird because like players knew, they like, dang, Rod coming, like we know what time it is. But then the coaches in the front office acting completely different. So, my pro career has just been trying to get back that momentum, get back that leverage, and then just trying to get in where I fit in. The league is becoming more of a role league now where you get 2 superstars and then you got some role guys. And it's been like that in the G. So just trying to figure out how to compete and maintain who I am. Like you don't want to give up who you are as a player, but you got to figure out how to fit into a system as well. So that's just been the challenge as a pro now, is just about, changing some of my identity and as the game goes on, becoming more of a defender. I'm a scorer, but I'm not in the role to score. So trying to figure out different ways to impact the game. So I think that's been one of the bigger challenges for my career.
All right. Well, if anybody is gonna figure that out, bro, I know it's gonna be you. So I have zero doubts at all because this dude, he done been through it all. So I'm got the slight bit worries of that. So, and I know you do too. But no, man, let's talk about getting to living with aim, man. Talk about what is living with aim, man. Just let's start there. What is living with aim?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a big reader. I'm big into content and messaging. So like you want to try to put something together for the next generation of kids, because I'm always thinking about the next one up,
Uh-huh.
because of the mentors who poured into our life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so living with aim came because, you know, you're sitting around in the pandemic and it's just like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
Like, so I'm sitting around, I got all these ideas, I'm reading a lot of books, I just have all this, in my mind. So it's like, all right, now I need to make it an actionable item.
Yep.
So living with aim came, just after conversation with people. I'm like, man, I need to put together content. So then I start to go get a logo. I start to go, learn about branding and things like that through my social media. So I came up with the concept living with aim because without aim, you're firing. Like if we use the analogy of a gun and you're aiming, if you don't have aim, you're not going to hit the target.
Right.
So, and I thought about that, growing up, like being aimless. Like you're just falling into this, you're falling into this, you're falling into this. And you look up, it's 10 years from now, and you still don't know what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, if I could create a message about aim, like really focusing in on something and getting it done, I think it'll help the next generation. So that's kind of how I came up with the concept of living with aim. And then to add a little more depth to it, the definition of living with aim is love. So to live is love, and to love is living. So in order for you to be living, you need to be loving. So if we're not loving, we're not living. So whatever it might be, loving your family, loving your community, loving the sport,
Uh-huh.
that's how you live within it. So a lot of times, when people don't experience love, they don't know how to give love. They don't
Uh-huh.
know how to fall in love with working hard. They don't
Right.
know how to fall in love with, themselves, because they haven't received it yet. So I wanted to put together a message that had depth to it, whereas it wasn't just like, something cool. So that's kind of how living with aim came about.
No, that's super dope, man. And I definitely think that that's something that everybody could take to.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just, like you said, live life without no target, man. You definitely got to have that aim. So that's big
Mm-hmm.
time, bro. And I see you got some gear coming out for it too. Talk about that, man. What you got coming out?
Yeah, so I've been big into gear. I mean, all athletes are big into gear.
Right.
Even as pros, when we get to the city, it's like, where the gear?
Right.
Like what did we get this year? And I knew gear was going to be my icebreaker for this in-depth messaging.
Uh-huh.
Because you don't, you just can't walk up to somebody and be like, yo, bro, what's your purpose?
Right.
So I knew gear was going to be my icebreaker. It's going to be my way in.
Yeah.
And, growing up on freshman B, not being good to be on the top AAU teams, we ain't even get into that, like Joy of the Game, Macro Fire, all that stuff.
That's crazy. We really did not get into that.
And I remember playing on some of the smaller AAU teams. Jordan Prince's dad had an AAU team, Spartan. And I remember like our jerseys at the time, I thought they was fire, but they was real life trash. And we didn't get Garrett. Then you see Garrett with Joy of the Game Gold. They get sweatsuits, shirts, warm up. They get everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. And I remember getting my freshman B year. We got you got to go find them jerseys, bro. I'm talking about wrinkled. You don't even know what the number is. And Coach P, I talked to him about that concept, and he got us team shoes. At the time, it was like those first Nike hyper dunks. I'm talking about crazy. We had the orange and white joints.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this as one of my testimonies for Identity, the company that I created. And I still remember to this day how it made us felt like that. We on freshman B and we get team shoes.
Right.
Like it was crazy. So like that was what gave me the vision for Identity. So I'm like, man, like as an athlete, because when people come back and speak to the kids, it was everything.
Right.
So now that I've amounted to the success, I'm like, man, I could do that and then some more. So that's how I came up with the concept of apparel. And then I'm like, well, let me apply the apparel to my personal brand too, because I have two brands, which is my personal, which is RP.
Right.
And then I have my company Identity. So with the RP through Instagram, like I got dropping March 5th the ebooks and the shirts, the exclusive shirts. And then I'm gonna go Instagram live with the people who get the ebook to discuss the ebooks. So I'm like, how, and I want to create a community feel about it. Like I want us to be connected. I want to do life, be in a relationship, with the people that, get on board with this. And I'm like, man, gear is something that shows us who we are. Like when I was at Georgetown, we had Georgetown sweaters.
Right.
Like only Georgetown basketball players had this sweater.
Right.
So it's like, I belong to the basketball team. So then I'm like, man, I could put that message behind clothing. Now I'm not gonna have a clothing company, but I could get 25 sweaters and get them out. So that's where the concept of branding clothes came into play. So I got my brand name is Responsible. That's kind of what RP represents, being responsible for your life and the decisions that you make, which gives us victory, like victim versus victor mindset. So that's how I created that. And then I got a manufacturer. I went into that business about producing gear for schools. So that's what identity is. And I want to talk to you about it too, because I want to come back home and see if schools back home want to partner with me. So the aspect of identity is apparel sponsorship, but with a mentorship program. So this is what separates me from the Nikes and the Adidas is, I got gear and I'm going to come with quantity because quantity matters. Quality matters too, but we want to have 4 jumpsuits, not just one.
Right.
We want to have 4 t-shirts, not just one.
Right.
So I was thinking that way too. So I'm like, what at an efficient rate could I get quantity with quality for these schools? So with that, I sponsored a school. I got the dope logo. I wish I had it on me right now. The ID logo.
We'll show it on the editing.
Yeah. So doing that, but I also come with the mentorship program. So the mentorship program is about helping athletes separate their identity just from their sport. Because we know time and time again, athletes are so locked into just the sport that we don't begin to branch out and do other things. And then when basketball is our end all be all and it doesn't work out, we back at the crib.
Like, right. What to do? Right.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
Like a deer in headlights all over again. So through this apparel, I come in and do life with the student athletes. So with the mentorship program, I come to campus, I'm practicing with the kids, I'm walking them through the content, I'm creating just community and relationship within the context of the school, and then just kind of branding out from that standpoint.
And you say you're doing that in the school right now?
I haven't got a school yet. I've been testing manufacturers. We finally found a manufacturer, gear crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking crazy. I got samples, but now I'm getting the samples with the logo and identity, got a backpack and duffel bag manufacturer. So it's all, I think by the end of this month, once I get the rest of the samples, like I'm sending emails, I'm jumping on Zoom calls with schools to see if they want to go ahead and do the partnership.
Man, that's super love, bro, man. Make sure you send me some stuff because I'm gonna definitely be rocking it on the air, just wherever I can help. I definitely support, man, for sure.
Yeah. So, the concept now is just about figuring out, like, if I come to Now's North, like, because I want to know how much they get in, because I think y'all would do something with Nike. So,
I don't know if we got a specific sponsorship with Nike, but our jerseys are definitely Nike right now. So
yeah.
But I would love to talk to whoever. I would even need to probably our athletic director and see something going with that, because that's deep and something that our kids could use for sure. Man.
Like imagine kids stepping into their purpose
right
at 15.
Exactly.
Like, so imagine you started this podcast when you was 15.
Right.
And now you 26, 27, you got 12 years of experience under your belt. Like we, as athletes, we think we have to wait to start.
Right.
When we can start it now. We might not monetize it right now, but it's something that we always wanted to do. So why not, start to put it together right now?
That's real talk right there. That's real talk. Yeah, that's love, man. All right, man. We almost wrapping it up, man. But before we end, man, we got this last segment. It's called One Gotta Go. So I'll give
Mm.
you about four options, four really tough options. And you got to choose one that just simply gotta go, man. It's gonna be tough, but that's what we got you here for. So let's talk. First, we're gonna go rap. We're gonna go music. Let's
Hmm.
go. You got Lil Wayne, you got Drake, you got Nas, you got Jay-Z.
Oh my God.
One of those guys gotta go, man. All living legends
Oh.
of
In
music.
just overall context, or are we talking something specific?
I was talking rap, but since you brought up overall context, we could do that. Make it
'Cause
more. Make it
I'm still debating people with Hove and Wayne, of course. But then, like, when you think of lyricists like Nas, Story Played,
uh-huh.
Nas is there. But then when you think of just overall impact, Drake is there.
Exactly.
So the unfortunate part, I'm gonna have to drop Nas, although like I rock with Nas, but like I don't rock with him to where I consistently
Right,
listen to him.
right.
So like it's like when we do Mount Rushmore, like yeah, do I rock with like Magic and all these dudes, but it's like I only seen Kobe, LeBron.
Right.
So I think it's that type of thing for me to drop Nas
I heard that.
because I go crazy for Wayne.
I know. I know. That's why I said Wayne first. You were one of the biggest Wayne heads I know. Right. You and your brother. Shoot. I just seen him the other day. Let's go. Here we go. Chicken Shack, Portillo's, Buffalo Joe's, or Gigi's.
Well, Chicken Shack is on its own. I gotta keep chicken. I gotta keep Buffalo Joe's.
Mhm.
I'm the first two spots you hit up. If you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have booted out Portillo's. But because Gigi's was like our
Like,
home.
oh my god.
But now it's been Portillo's, so I gotta boot out Gigi's.
Yeah, Gigi's, they done up their prices too. They ain't even
Yeah, they wildin' now. They
all right, man. Let's go gyms, man. Let's go gyms. We got Beersley. You got Notre Dame's gym, which is a
Mhm.
legendary gym. You got Robert Morris's gym, and then you got Fleetwood, man. One of them got to go. Mind you, they just did Fleetwood over. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
Yeah, I seen it. Nuts.
it's crazy. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but um,
It's,
yeah,
it's it's like very bright in there now.
yeah, it's like so new and modern. It's yeah,
Man, we talking about Robert Morris University?
yeah, your school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I like that gym.
Yeah, I like that gym. Um, King Fleetwood got to stay. Beersley definitely got to stay.
Nice.
Ain't nothing like Beersley.
Nothing.
I'm gonna have to say Robert Morris.
Robert Morris.
Just because we didn't have that many fans, so like the Don Dome, we still packed that joint with
Yeah,
student section and all of that.
thanks. All right, let's go one more, man. We're gonna go Chicago Hoopers.
Oof.
It's probably gonna be the toughest one, bro. No disrespect to nobody.
Yeah, no disrespect, no disrespect.
Absolutely not. So we got D Rose,
Mm.
D Wade, Anthony Davis, Jabari Parker.
We doing specifically in high school, or we doing total?
I didn't have that in mind. I'm not gonna lie to you. So let's just go total. Let's just go
Total?
everything. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so sick. JP tore his ACL twice.
Gosh, bro, I tell people that all the
Because
time.
in high school, even at Duke, oh my,
At Duke, oh my God.
but man, AD, he amounted to much more after high school.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Winning the chip at Kentucky, #1 draft pick. Dang. And D Wade and D Rose untouchable.
Untouchable.
They're untouchable. They're untouchable. I'm gonna have to go. I gotta. Dang, this hurts. This hurts. But I gotta go. I gotta boot JP. I
got
gotta boot JP.
I understand that.
Only because of injuries, though. Only because of injury.
Man, bro, I tell people all the time, man. If he never got hurt, him and Greek Freak.
And at the time, JP was averaging like 22 and 12.
Yeah, he was the Greek. He was.
Yeah. He was killing. Even after when he came back from the ACL, he was killing.
Dunking on people's heads.
But then, that's when Greek Freak started to separate himself. So, I mean, the Greek Freak did what he had to do.
Did he ever? And some. That dude.
That boy evolved.
He's crazy, bro. But nah, man, I appreciate you coming on here, bro. Hopefully we could get you on here again once you get the living with the aim stuff going. You got your son coming to this world, so hopefully we can check in with you with that. Tell the wife I said hello, man. It's big time, man. I can't. It's crazy how life is, man. I've known you my whole life, basically. And still getting married, having children, man, starting his own business. Big time, man.
He was just in Vegas, man.
Man, we was just in Vegas, man. We was just in Vegas, bro. I swear, man. But you're a motivation to a lot of dudes in the town, man. We got a lot of young kids in the town looking up to you. Got Quan Smart at Maryland right now, looking up to you. You got Lance Jones doing huge things at SIU right now. So we got a lot of kids right here that's definitely looking up to you, man. And you set the foundation for them, man. You should be proud of it, bro, for real.
Yeah, crazy to think, man. Just humbled, blessed. I mean, we hear the whole statement, I'm not supposed to be here. I am because of who God says I am. But when we look at the trajectory path, man, it's like, who would have ever thought?
Man, bro.
Who would have ever thought?
Man, bro. And it's not, and the crazy thing is it's not stopping no time soon, man.
Oh, yeah, it's not stopping anytime soon. Evanston and Notre Dame, number 1 and 2 in the state right now. Like,
unbelievable, man. Now we're getting back in that conversation. We still here, but we just lost a really good player to Maryland, so we things back up. Yeah.
And I'm sick because of COVID. Like, I can't go down and see him because he right up the road from me right now. But we've been talking here and there.
Yeah. We're gonna get Quan on here too to chop it up with get the younger audience.
Oh yeah, get the young generation on here.
Yeah, we need them, man. We need them. They're the future. So no doubt, bro. I appreciate you, bro. We definitely gonna chop it up after this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But love, bro. I appreciate you coming on here, man, for real.
I appreciate you having me, bro.
All right, man. 3rd episode of It's Only Entertainment. We'll see y'all next time.